not even going to give you gas money to meet your parents. But really in the back of my mind, I was trying to go enjoy a school event. He grabs my phone. He grabs my keys. I was able to get my keys from him, but I wasn't able to get my phone.
Hello and welcome to There is a Beautiful Me. I'm your host, Crystal Davis. I just want to say thank you for joining us today. This is a special segment. I am here with Tierra Nicole, and she has a story. This is coming to an end of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I wanted to be able to reach out to Tierra. We met just recently, and she has so much to share with you all. You will see a piece of her story at the end of this. But Tierra, I really want to ask, what is domestic violence to you? Can you explain for those that don't know?
Domestic violence to me is when you're in a relationship, any relationship, and that person is not respecting you, verbal, emotionally, or physically, and they're belittling you, doing harm to you, and they're affecting you all around. That's what domestic violence means to me.
Okay. So you said a mental standpoint as well. When you say a mental standpoint, can you kind of break that down? What do you mean? Do you mean like as far as your actions, or you constantly being aware of the things that you do, I guess, while you're in that relationship with that person?
Like for me, as a mental standpoint, I wasn't myself. My abuser got me to the point where whatever he was saying, or got me to believe whatever he was saying was true, which he was saying was not true. It got to the point where when I was not mentally myself, I was doing harm to myself. It got to the point where the arguments escalated so much, I felt like I needed to get away. And I couldn't get away because he took away my phone, he took away my keys. We were in the apartment. So I'm not suicidal, but at that moment I wanted to get away. So it was a time where I attempted to jump off the balcony of our apartment. There was attempts where I've tried to cut my arm, cut my wrist, because I wanted to escape from this feeling. And so that's what I say when they do mental damage, because that's not who I am originally. But when you have someone who is abusing you and is controlling you, controlling the way you think, has control over your emotions, then that's a problem. And that's why I went to go seek therapy, because that wasn't who I was. And I lost a lot of friends, my family, and I chose him over everybody, and he wasn't doing any good to me.
Okay. And now that you've kind of brought up the relationship, how was it in the beginning? I guess when we start in our relationships, you think everything's good, everything's wonderful, and then things just start to change. So, in the beginning, can you describe how your relationship was at first?
Yes. In the beginning, the relationship was wonderful. We went on dates. He showered me with gifts. I was attracted to him because he was so different. And I guess while we were dating and he was showing me a good time, he was like, okay, I'm reeling her in. I'm reeling her in. Because he was 4 years older than me. When we met, I was 18. A few weeks later, I turned 19. And I was in a relationship with him until after my 21st birthday. So I didn't really know much about life. I didn't really experience much about relationships. And him being 4 years older than me, he's been there, done that. And so he took advantage of me. And he got what he wanted out of the situation.
And you probably thought going into the relationship that he was someone that would have respected you with his age,
Right.
being older and being more mature. And that's one thing that I even had experience with, is dating someone that was older. And I
Right.
thought, oh, it's like they're older, they know more, and, they can show me different things. But it's really a mindset that you have to be in to kind of understand that things may not always appear as good as they may seem. If you can agree with me, because I'm glad that I was able to come out, because I've not been in like a domestic violence situation, but I've been in a relationship where mentally I felt like I was having to just change and alter my actions, or what I would do like with my friends, and just sacrifice just because I wanted him to be happy. And that's not what we want. So I'm really glad that you're sharing this with everybody. This is so powerful. And can you tell us, when did you realize that it was changing? What was the trigger, or can you give some pointers as far as what people or other women can look for if they think they're in a domestic violence situation?
For one, when it comes to dating a guy, look at the way he treats his mother.
That's smart.
The way he treats his mother is the way he's going to treat you. he had a relationship with his mother, but he was raised by his grandmother. So when things didn't go his way with his mother, he talked so bad about her, and really, and then there was times where he also fought his sister when things didn't go his way, and I didn't listen to his relatives. That's one thing. Like if his relatives are telling you, "Hey, you're better than that. Leave my son alone or leave my brother alone." Listen to them because they know him better than you know him. Another thing is when he's doing harm to your loved ones around you. In my story, I share how he threw alcohol on my friend months before the situation happened with me. So he lashed out verbally with me, but he never really did any harm to me physically. And then until we moved and lived together. But before that, I ignored that sign when he threw alcohol on my friend when we were on a trip. And it's just pay attention to the red flags. Don't ignore them. They're there for a reason. And these are signs that God's telling you, leave, walk away, my child. There's something better for you.
Very much so.
Yes.
And can you also say with your friends, because you did say like with your friends and your family, everybody kind of was excluded. You kind of put them on the back end. Can you describe what that time was like? Were your friends trying to tell you? Were they trying to throw hints and not, trying to get in your business, but just looking out for you? Like, Tierra, he may seem like a great guy, but we feel X, Y, Z.
Right. Well, when it came to my friends, I kept calling them and saying, "Hey, girls, this is what he's doing." But your friends get tired of giving you the same advice because you just keep running back to him. So it's like, I only can tell you so much. And they just, let me go through. But I was thankful after that relationship ended. I went back to my friends and I said, I apologize. And I've gained all three of those friendships back.
That's wonderful.
So I'm really thankful for that.
Are they here
They're here today.
Okay, so we'll hopefully get to talk with them.
Yes.
We'll talk with them a little bit later.
Yes.
And to wrap up, can you give us advice, just one piece of advice that stuck with you that you may have received from someone else on what it is that girls can do to either get out of their domestic violence situation or that you would just share with them to encourage them to get out if they're struggling?
I would say that if you realize that you are having to change your goals or you're putting your goals on the back burner and you're basically putting this person before your goals, you need to leave it. The only person that should go before anything is God. Everything happens for a reason because I wouldn't be here talking to you all today if I didn't go through my whole situation. But at times I think in the back, man, what it would have been like if I went off to school. Because I'm going to school and I live at home, but I've never been away from home. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to leave. And I had that opportunity twice and I turned that down. So I feel like if you're in school and you have a plan to go somewhere, follow your dreams. Do not stop your dreams for a man. Because if he's the one, he will follow you. He will follow you. And remember, you are Proverbs 31. So do not settle. Know your worth.
Well, thank you so much, Tierra, and I hope you all are encouraged. And if you are going through a situation, Tierra, can you tell people how they can reach out to you or on your social media, anything?
Yes, you can reach out to me on Instagram at It's Tierra Nicole. Also, you can send me an email at info@tierranicole.com. I'll be happy to talk with you and help you get through your situation.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And hopefully we get to speak with some of her friends. Stay tuned because we have a piece of her testimony after this. Hello, I am again here with one of Tierra's friends. This is Bree, and she was also able to witness the relationship between Tierra and her then boyfriend. Can you tell us about what moment that you noticed that things were not the same or things weren't right with Tierra's relationship?
Well, I noticed a few times when we did meet up, he was always aggressive. He was always rude. He was just mean to her. And I'm thinking, Tierra, I don't think a man should treat you like that. Like, from where I was raised, my dad always told me a man should respect you, love you, adore you, cherish you. And those actions he was doing was neither of those. So I've realized that multiple times, honestly. But it's hard when you have a friend who's in love because sometimes they can't see that when they're in love. So it's hard to tell, hey, Tierra, I don't think, he's right for you. I didn't want to, kind of step out of my place. So I've seen it multiple times, honestly.
So when you said you didn't want to step out of your place, but you did approach her at some point to kind of just mention it. So when you first approached her, how did that go?
I don't want to say that she was in denial, but I felt like she was always defending him. Always, for every small or big thing, it was always, she was in defensive mode. And so when I see her actions, I just like, okay, I just want to tell you as a friend, I won't bring it up anymore because I see you're really being sensitive about it. So that was about it.
Okay, so then was it after that moment that you decided to step back because you all fell off at a point?
We kind of went our separate ways. I mean, I've always loved her, us talking no matter what. I always loved her, but I feel like she had to figure that out on her own. So we just went our separate ways.
So now tonight with her being here and sharing her story, how does it make you feel?
I'm really proud of her. I feel like she has grown as an individual, as a woman, as a person, and I really hope that she keep continuing doing what she does because I feel like this can open up more stories and more hearts for other people. So I'm really proud of her. She's doing a great job.
Thank you so much for sharing. All right. Well, this is Bree, and again, please stay tuned for the rest of the show. All right, so we are at the end of the show, but before we go, I do have a few of Tierra's friends here who were able to witness her domestic violence situation. And can you please tell us your name?
Sure. My name is Caitlin Alfred, and me and Tierra, we've known each other since middle school. We ran track together, met her in 7th grade, and this situation started. We took a trip to San Antonio, and when we first got there, I knew that he was, very argumentative about certain things, and we kind of like argued on our way there. But when we got there, I was like, okay, maybe things will, kind of relax. Once we get some food, everything will kind of calm down. But that wasn't the case, and that's actually how we ended up separating ourselves from them. So we let, him and his brother go out and do their own things, and me and Tierra kind of, hung out in the room. And then when he came back, by this point, he was already, probably had a few too many drinks in his system and, started feeling himself. And I'm not one to play. You put your hands on me, I'm calling the police. That's just how I was raised. I'm not putting my hands on you. Don't put your hands on me. And, I just had to do what I had to do. And when he threw the drink on me, it just made me, kind of second guess. One, I don't even know him that well.
Right.
And two, that's just very disrespectful. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. So for him to even, take that route and do something so cowardly as to throw a drink on me, I was like, okay, yeah, I know that I need to remove myself from this situation, which is why I called the police and had him, they had to leave the hotel that night. And I caught a flight back to Houston.
Wow. So when you spoke to Tierra about the situation, was she there to witness, or she just?
It was kind of hectic. It was a lot going on, so I didn't want to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to her. She was kind of taking up for her boyfriend at that point. And me, I was worried about getting my belongings, calling a cab, and getting to the airport. So, I didn't really, want to even talk to anyone at that point. And when I left that day, I didn't speak to her for about a year.
So can you tell us the emotional feeling that you felt for Tierra at that point when you realized, okay, this guy, her boyfriend, just threw a drink on me? I know for me personally, I'm thinking if one of my friends' boyfriend threw something on me, I would be so upset, not just at the whole situation and both of them, but I would be hurting for her because I'm like, what is she going through?
And see, right, at that point, I knew that that they were already going through a rocky road, so I knew that it was nothing that I can say or do for her to get up and leave this person. So I knew that at the end of the day, she wasn't going to have my back and that I was in this situation by myself. Although I did feel really bad for her because she wasn't the same person. I didn't even know this person at this point. Which is why, I decided to just remove myself from the situation and just, cut all ties and contact.
When you all rekindled your friendship and then even being here tonight, how does it make you feel now to know that Tierra has overcome this situation, one, and then going into her testimony?
I just feel really great for her. I'm so proud of her. She's came a long way, and I can see her smile again. It's her again, which is good. It's a breath of fresh air for her as well. And I'm just glad that she had, the opportunity to remove herself from that situation before things got really bad.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing with us. And stay tuned, we have one more person. All right, hello again. I am here with Ariel. This is another one of Tierra's friends who was able to witness her relationship. Ariel, can you tell us what was it like to see Tierra going through what she went through for you?
I would say it was a very emotional time for me as well because I was like around her a lot. I saw his actions more in person and like over the phone, and just the verbal and the physical, the emotional state that what he would do to her. Like I've seen that in person, so I definitely can understand what she was going through. It's kind of like I was going through it with her, like going through it with her. I would say a lot of emotions, and it was more of like a mental thing, I would say, with like the kind of attacks he would do. And it wasn't like it wasn't always physical. It was starting off with emotional and spiritual and stuff like that.
Okay, and how long have you and Tierra known each other?
I think I think it's been more than 6 years.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
24 now. And when I met her, I was like a sophomore in college,
Okay.
so I was like 19. So yes,
Wow, so a very long time.
yeah, it's been a while.
When you first realized the situation, what was the moment that you realized this guy was this guy's not it for her?
It was one day when we were leaving. We were both supposed to go to Prairie View together. We was going to get our apartment together, and we were both leaving. We had just landed, like we just drove back into Humble, and she got a phone call, and she was just saying, "Hey, let's go to dinner." And the conversation went from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds about, just anything simple as her just going to a college, like not even far away, but away. And I noticed then, I was like, because she would tell me sometimes, and I was like, well, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. But, the conversation that he would have and the way he responded to her, I was kind of like, whoa, like, yeah, that's a bit much, from a conversation that went from let's go to dinner to why are you going to school, and like he didn't want her to like further her education, or he just wanted her to be like under him.
Unsupported.
Yeah, and I didn't like that because I'm a big believer in education. I was kind of concerned then, and it just kind of went from my emotions. Then I just was like, no, okay, I don't think I too much care for him, and I hadn't even really met him in person.
So, ladies, a phone conversation, even if you're, eavesdrop, if you feel suspicious about anything, just eavesdrop. Would you
Yes.
strongly suggest.
Yes. Even if you're just sitting next to your friend and they're having a conversation and it goes from simple to big in 2 seconds, talk to them about it. Try to get some information about it. Ask them how their relationship is and what's going on in the relationship, because you never know. They might not express it, but you don't know how the person is feeling emotionally.
You'll never know until you ask. So, during the time that you all were not communicating, what were you going through, like emotionally or like mentally, like, because that's your friend, and it's like she chose him over me. So I know that probably took you to a whole different mindset about her and just your feelings in general. Can you talk about that?
I just felt like, we were close, and she had been there for me when I was going through different things, and I just wanted to be there for her. But I felt like it kind of was like a choice. Like either it was going to be him or friends. And, of course I understand that it was hard because you want to be in a relationship. You care for this person. You love this person, and you support this person. So it's kind of like, well, I want my relationship to get better, so I'm going to put all my effort into my relationship. And you don't realize, like, oh, I don't even have friends anymore.
Right.
You don't even realize
happens
that.
that
It happens
fast.
so quick.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I was emotionally hurt, but I was just hoping that everything was okay.
Wow, that's good. So now seeing her today and hearing her share her story, was it some parts of the story that you did not know that she shared tonight?
Yeah, for the longest, even after everything had happened with the domestic violence, I didn't know any of that because we weren't friends.
Right.
So when I did contact her, when we did talk, and I found that out, I was like, wow, you've had a lot going on in the past couple months, and I'm like, well, how are you? How is everything going? And she was really trying to get her life back together and get herself back together emotionally. So I kind of was more, I was shocked. I didn't expect it to get that far.
Now that the spark has rekindled and y'all's friendship is back, when that moment happened, tell us about that experience.
Through that moment, I had some life changes going on as far as with job, school, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, with myself personally. And I honestly think that the fact that we reconnected was actually good for the both of us because we both were able to share what we were going through at the same time. Of course, mine was way smaller than hers, but it still was good to, for her to be able to vent to someone.
And I'm glad that you all are back friends because tonight, like I said, after this, you will see just a brief of what Tierra's story is about. But thank you so much again for sharing. Can you give some advice to young ladies who may be, I guess, in the same situation as you, a friend that is witnessing another friend that's going through a domestic violence situation, or it seems that that is about to arise?
I feel like anytime you're dating someone or anytime you're going to be with someone, just make sure that they treat you like the queen you are. And you always hold yourself to a higher level, and you only allow certain things. And always make sure that if you see any red flags with the person, step back. There's nothing wrong with stepping back. There's nothing wrong with starting over and letting go. If someone's not meant for you, then if you see it ahead of time, catch it early, and make sure you get to know the person regardless of how they feel or what they think. Know them inside and out. Because you never know a person, them real selves until their actions come out. So as you see, as you're with somebody, just make sure that you know them and you treat yourself and hold yourself to a higher standard.
Well, thank you so much, Ariel. I appreciate it. Stay tuned.
No, you're not. I'm not even going to give you gas money to meet your parents. I said, I don't need your gas money. I'm going to go meet my parents. But really in the back of my mind, I was trying to go enjoy a school event. He grabs my phone. He grabs my keys. I was able to get my keys from him, but I wasn't able to get my phone. We were wrestling around in the apartment. My phone rings. Before I could even explain who was calling me, he threw the phone against the wall and punched me in the face. And that's why then I decided material things can be replaced, but your life can't. So on April 11, 2014, God gave me the strength and courage to walk away from that unhealthy relationship. It was not for God, the support from my family, my friends, my church members, and therapy, I'll probably still be in that relationship. I spoke up. I chose to live. It's not easy getting out of an unhealthy relationship. Domestic violence is real. People need support. That is why I no longer see being labeled as a bad thing. I own my label of survivor with pride to tell my story, to inspire others in their own journey, letting them know they are not alone. They can get out of their abusive situation. Thank you. Woo! Woo!